figure out who was in the vehicle, right? Because I thought it was another person in the vehicle with her at first coming down the driveway. And the conversation was that loud and clear. So I hear her coming down the driveway, and I wait a second, and then I get back up out of there, and I wait in the road for Candace. And, you know, she meets me within a second or two, and we talk, that whole thing goes on. And then after that's when I go back down there, and I get into the creek as our other neighbor, Donnie. He's like, which way you want to take? But he, and Candace is not thinking about this, had eyes on us the whole time. It's not unusual. That's his time of day to be out in his yard as well. He was out in the road. He heard me. He had to tell her about the scream. And he knows what was said between him and I, right? About who was taking the bank, who was taking the creek. I take the creek because I have sandals on, Tiffany. He had on, you know, he had on shoe, like boot things, you know, like the men wear that are semi-both. And I remember specifically, because I'm at a lower point, specifically looking at his shoes before I see his face. But he was like, well, I'll tell you, you know, we're like, you take the bank, I'll take the water. And we both kept eyes on each other the whole time in verbal contact. So Candace can fuck right the fuck off. And Don with his bullshit, he literally in a video pulls in and it's like, oh, my neighbor was right here and the boys are right here.
Oh my God, I know.
I'm like, you idiot. But yeah, like, I love how many bullshit details she suddenly remembers, but it doesn't know where the fuck, when the fuck, doesn't know how the fuck, can't remember shit from, can't remember time from. Even in the first day or two, she was like, well, I don't know, time flies when you're having fun. Now all of a sudden last night, she's like, 4:30, 5 o'clock, I'm going down the driveway, because Summer's already missing, is what she says. She's on the phone with Dawn, you know. And the whole world stops and goes, what the fuck? You know, we all did. It was like, what the fuck does she mean? What the fuck does she mean she was coming down the driveway and seeing me at 4:30, 5 o'clock? You know, and Andy didn't work some job like construction. Andy worked a timed clock in, clock out, same time every day. He might stay over, but he was not, you know what I mean? And he did the day Summer, you know, vanished. But the thing is that, like, here she is saying that she's coming down the driveway. And she sees me and you know, whatever, and I'm like, holy shit. The whole world went, holy shit. Michelle After Dark, everybody else is like, holy shit. But girl, your phone calls to police aren't until 6:21 and 6:30 something or whatever, right?
6:26.
Yeah, so, and I'm like, what the fuck? Everybody's like, what the fuck?
If you heard, listen, I've gone over this in my head so many fucking times. If you heard a scream between, I believe you, Jody.
I told the feds today, I was like, look, fellas, can you tell me if it was or wasn't? Can you give me a fucking reason why? It would have been, and they just...
I'll tell you why. They can't confirm it because there's no proof of the scream. They can say, yes, we have the neighbor, right, who heard...
Yeah, it's unfounded, you know. It's unfounded, which means they can't prove or disprove.
It's basically...
But did they ask you about the scream thing, what it sounded like and all that? Yeah.
Did you tell them?
Well, yeah, I mean, we've told them many times that's what nobody gets. I mean, but you have many interviews and profile. I mean,
that they asked you is a good thing. That means that they don't discount it. If they're asking you,
they always ask it about it, Tiffany. Always, it's never stopped.
They believe you. They just can't prove it. They believe you. They just can't prove it. That's all.
That's the first thing they ask every time, just about. And it's like I told him today, I was like, can you tell me why? Because you have better minds than I do. I was like, why in the hell can't I? Like, I can hear it, but I can't access it like I was. I was like, in the card 10.
Because it's a sound.
I was like,
visual.
I was like,
you're probably not somebody who, you don't, Jody, when you were, let me ask you, are you a visual learner or are you audible? Like, do you?
My brain's changed, you know, over the past couple of years. Not with the cancer, but with that Andy was forcing me to take during the Peep and Tom incident because it was fucking with my brain. It took some of my facial recognition and stuff from me, which is why I'm telling everybody it's a big fucking deal that I remember that guy's face in the damn truck.
Yeah.
It's something weird about that.
We need to talk about that again because people are talking about that too, saying, Ben, I've been listening to him talking shit for the last fucking 48 hours. Nonstop. That's all he does, talk shit.
He just regurgitates crap. Benny is also using his bullshit. Like, if you ever watch Manipulators, what that is, like, Benny after that shit.
I know.
And most people know me, and they try to trigger me by being, like, super wrong, and I'll see it done to me in chats or by creators a lot. They'll know I'm in the room, and they'll bring up a panel guest that's complete garbage, and they'll be like, look, it'll get to her where she jumps up on panel and they'll be like, look, it'll get to her where she jumps up on panel and gives us information. I see what they're doing. And unless I feel like participating, I'm just going to leave chat. Sometimes I'll get up there to fuck off. But otherwise, I mean, I can see what's being done. But that's kind of what Keys does in a way. He doesn't have to know his ass from home ground. He just regurgitates whatever, knows people easily by whatever he says anyway. But he can also get information like that by having like me or others then get on lives or panels, and then he gets his fucking questions answered instead of not being a lazy cunt in the first place and just doing what everybody else does in actual research instead of sending out people like Squall. And his whole thing is just being an evil piece of shit and targeting people anyway. Like, he doesn't care what he puts out. And
he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care. He's just like the rest of these people. All the people who care lately are sitting back. Like, what the fuck is going on? Have you noticed that the people who really care are kind of quiet right now?
Yeah, I know. AB's real quiet. You're quiet, but also at the same time, I'm getting morning messages like, "Oh, AB and Tiffany and Snakes." And I was like, I don't give a fuck. And then what gets me?
We talked yesterday. I don't even think we talked today.
Did you see that shit with John Q? What the hell is his ass doing on a damn panel talking about me and property after how many months? What the hell is that dude's problem?
They said, why now? That was their last thing. They said, why now? All this time later.
Because something's up over there with that camp again. They think they're going to be smooth.
They just want to target somebody.
They're up to something over there.
This coming out, it's going to probably really... Oh my God.
To anybody thinking they're going to see that it is part of a setup, and it is, something's wrong here.
Yeah, something's wrong.
Something's
very wrong.
Yeah.
Summer's out there in the hills somewhere. For fuck's sakes. I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of it. And somebody knows where she is.
And that's the things, I mean, we still know things that, I mean, I'm not saying openly because I don't want to fuck up the investigation, you know, and there are reasons to want to have my doubt. You know, I mean, I don't want to say things openly, especially right now, against how anything was done or how it's being done. Or
you've gone this long and you've protected her this long. Don't ever go back on that.
And, you know, there are other things. It's like I don't want to help shit on law enforcement or anything that's done at this point. I mean, there's obvious flaws and everything, but it's also, they are doing their jobs, Tiffany.
I believe you.
And,
I believe you. I believe you, and I believe that they are. I've lost hope in them a little bit, but it makes me feel good to know that they're around and that they're showing up for shit. And like, not that I want them to be coming to your house, but to know that they are.
Well, I don't mind. That's the thing. They showed up today. You didn't see me flip at them like it's cops. And I was like, nope, that's the feds. And I just turned the camera off and I went. I was like, hey guys. I mean, we don't flip out about it here. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not going to.
At least they're coming to you, right?
I mean, it's like, but I hate that there are times when, you know, they're here for whatever. And they made reference to the person mullet, right? And kind of chuckled with me. So I kind of knew whatever that was probably heralded by the prior day or two. But it was probably heralded by the prior day or two. But then here I am. And I'm like, yeah, last night a bit, I was like, you know, I asked y'all show up after, you know, in the afternoon. Thanks, guys. And they just kind of looked at me like, yeah, we see you. But I was like, so I'm sure, you know, but either way, it's like, I don't mind them showing up. I hate that they're taking off shit because of, but I mean, the truth doesn't mind being because of, but I mean, the truth doesn't mind being questioned, Tiffany.
That's right.
You know, and I don't have shit to hide. I never have, I never will. Any day of the week, they want to show up, I'm here, and they know it.
That's what I mean, though. Like, it's good that they're showing up, and it's good that whatever they're doing, I believe they probably have a really good idea of what happened.
I see, the thing is, like, they don't ever really have any, because they're out here because they have to respond to something, you know, and they kind of give me hints about what's called, you know what I mean? There's enough hint dropping that lets me know what kind of petty shit has brought them out, but then we just take the time to go back over, and they have everything. They have the same messages I posted to my Facebook. They have all the things and then more, you know, so it's like, they have everything. And, I mean, we go over the bare minimum basics again, and we make sure everything's the same, because of course they want to, I mean, if they're here, they might as well make sure that my shit's still straight, right?
Yeah.
And that's fine. And they usually jet, because they just, you know what I mean? We all know what the fuck's really up.
They know forever. They'll just get what they need and go.
Yeah. And like today, they were more interested and excited over what the fuck was happening with Candace. Yeah. And like today, they were more interested and excited over what the fuck was happening with Candace changing her fucking time.
So much to you? Huh? Like, doesn't that say so much to you, though? Like, don't you feel good about that, though? Like, I would.
Yeah, I mean, my shit.
Even knowing that they have a reaction to that gives me hope. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, there was a reaction. They were like, you have that. Can you easily pull it up? What's the link? Where's that at? Where can we find it? I was like, hold on. I was like, I was actually in the middle of live playing this. I was like, and I opened the door back up, and I asked Sissy to give me the phone and brought it up there, and they were like, oh, and they brought everything up in front of me, made sure they had the right things, and they were like, alrighty then. And I played them Candace's voice, changing their shit with her picture right there with the puppy And that excites more than anything else here.
Jody, she keeps putting a dog up there. It's not even Lucky.
That one she's saying is a puppy out of yuck. And if you notice,
yes, it was the day before yesterday. She was on a leash size.
Yeah.
Over in the drama community.
Yeah, I know. She keeps putting up the one that's Elwood's.
She said that it was Lucky. She told him it was Lucky, and I was looking at the dog. That's not fucking Lucky.
She keeps putting up the one that looks like Elwood, my other dog.